Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
Good turn, Miller inside the penalty. He's off the line. He's the only swinger in town. Roger Miller has got the Cameroon bench absolutely ecstatic. Higuita seems to want to get involved. I do not believe it. He's thrown the chances away now. That's it. 2-0, Roger Miller, and that is always the danger. Roger Miller makes this World Cup belong to Cameroon.
The 2022 Ballon d'Or winners are set to be revealed on Monday at Théâtre du Châtelet, Paris, France. Who will carry home football's most coveted individual trophy? Watch Ballon d'Or award ceremony as it unveils the winners from 8:50 p.m. live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
The legends and familiar charms will grace KBC once again. Don't
The lunchtime news. Thank you for keeping it KBC Channel 1. It is the 17th day in the month of October 2022, the day that we have kicked off the vetting of cabinet secretaries at the County Hall, an event that we are covering with our able team on the ground. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Lensa Odingo. With me, we have two trophies here on this desk. This is an award that has been won by Karen Kibet. Our very own Karen Kibet won two trophies, the Zikomo Awards, which were being held in Zambia. She says that the awards will be called Zikomo according to Zambians. And she won the Best Female TV Personality of the Year Africa and also the Best Journalist of the Year Africa. Congratulations, Karen. Karen, happy to have you here with us. Tell us about these awards. What do they mean to you? How did you kick off this journey to getting the two trophies?
Thank you so much for having me in the Lunchtime News. I'm honored, I'm humbled. The journey started way back in June, so it was a whole process that involves all the African fans, and the awards have so many categories. I was nominated in two awards, the Best TV Personality of the Year in Africa and the Best Journalist of the Year in Africa, and it was all about mobilizing fans from all over the continent to get to vote for you. So I'm really honored because people came out in large numbers and voted for me, which means, and you know, I'm really humbled, which means that people recognize hard work, determination, and tenacious people, because I really reached out to all my friends on social media, on WhatsApp, you know, just, hi guys, I was nominated for this, please vote for me. And I'm humbled. It was an honor gracing the colorful event, and not only gracing the event, but also bagging the two coveted awards.
Congratulations once again, Karen. Looking forward to get more from you. And Karen Kibet is Channel 1's news anchor. Catch her at 9 p.m. She'll bring you the sports news. She won the Zikomo Awards, Best Female TV Personality of the Year Africa, Best Journalist of the Year Africa. Congratulations. Karen. To other news this afternoon, a section of agriculture stakeholders in Embu have urged farmers to resort to drought-resistant crops such as sorghum to avoid losses attributed to poor rainfall in the country. Many farmers in Embu have made losses owing to failed rainfall. 100,000 people are facing starvation in Embu County owing to a prolonged drought. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector have now begun sensitizing farmers to grow sorghum in a bid to mitigate the ravaging drought. While in Embu, the stakeholders drawn from various sectors urged farmers from Thawa, Muminji and Evurori wards to grow sorghum and other drought-resistant crops for ready market.
We are going to work with them this season, hoping that it will rain and then win them out of that thinking about the monopoly of maize and these other seasonal crops which have failed because of climate change.
The stakeholders committed to provide seedlings, financial literacy and banking services to the farmers in a partnership geared towards an economically viable climate adaptation and food security.
Tayari kusimamia na kusupport wakulima ili waweze kupata mkopo kule Equity Bank, na mkopo ule utawawezesha kununua farm input ambao ni fertilizer, ambao ni mbegu. Kwa hivyo mkulima asishindwe ya kwamba mbegu iko shamba ninayo, pesa nitapata namna gani.
The program will also allow farmers to access agricultural knowledge and services. Hundreds of locals in Lokodolani, location of Kajiado County, have received an assortment of food items courtesy of an organization, Food Banking Kenya, to help them deal with biting hunger. John Gatundu from the organization says it was time Kenyans come together to help their brothers and sisters facing the impact of the ongoing drought that has caused untold suffering in arid and semi-arid areas. Locals say they have lost their livestock, which is their livelihoods, and now depend on well wishers for survival, and they are calling on Kenyans of goodwill to come to their rescue.
Tumeweza kuleta chakula ambayo itaweza kupea watu familia kama 600 chakula ya kukula. Kama kweli uko na kitu ambayo unaweza saidia wenzetu, sisi kama Food Banking Kenya tuko na network ya kufikishia wenzetu chakula na ile ingine ambayo unaweza kuwa naye, na ninajua ya kwamba sisi ni watu very accountable kwa ile kazi huwa tunafanya.
Kuna mali kunanyesha kwa upande mali kama Kisii labda na mali pengine, lakini mali kama Kajiado kuna kiangazi. Kwa hivyo unapofikiria, unapochuma hata kamkungu kandizi, tafadhali ukumbuke kwamba kuna watu ambao wanahitaji huo mkungu wa ndizi. Unaweza kuweka mahali alafu ikachukuliwa na Banking Kenya, hata mboga. Saa zingine hata mboga iko mingi shambani na inaharibiwa na mvua. Usikubali haribiwe na mvua. Peana tu, tutawapatia namba zetu za hiyo kampuni, watachukua hicho chakula na watafikia wale wengine ambao hawako.
And on that beat, we cross over to County Hall in the county of Nairobi, where the vetting of cabinet secretaries exercise kicked off this morning. Timothy Kipnusu is on that beat. Timothy, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Irene Mchuma Odim, there at the broadcasting house. Yes, indeed, as you've mentioned, I'm coming to you live from County Hall here in Nairobi, where the vetting of different names that were presented to the National Assembly of the 15-member committee is ongoing. It is a very tough race, of course, here in Parliament. The first person that has been vetted, of course, is Musalia Mudavadi, who is the former party leader of ANC. And of course, the first thing that he did is to confirm to the panel that he has relinquished his position as the party leader, as it is required by law. And of course, also a number of issues were, he was subjected to a number number of issues, of course, presenting a clearance certificate from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, of course, also from the Director of Criminal Investigations, of course, from the HALB, and also to ensure that also he has a clearance certificate from the Kenya Revenue Authority. Musalia Mudavadi has been subjected to a total scrutiny by the 15-member committee. He was tasked to confirm to the committee that indeed he was never implicated in corruption. Of course, then the benchmark of this particular vetting process is to ensure that they look at the issues to do with corruption. Of course, the Public Officer Ethics Act, of course, also the Leadership and Integrity Act, and of course the Ethics and Corruption Economics Crimes Act. And he convinced the panel or the 15-member committee that indeed he has never been implicated, and a number of issues, including the Goldenback scandal, the Anglo leasing, has came up, and a number of questions in regards to him being implicated, and he say he was just a state witness and not a culprit for that matter. He has also been tasked to convince the panel on the allegations of him grabbing land, the Woodley estate, and he also said that he is paying rent that like any other person, and the land is now in the hands of the county government of Nairobi. Mudavadi also was tasked to convince the panel that if at all the cabinet secretaries will be able to be attending the sessions, of course, coming to Parliament to answer questions in regards to their ministries, bearing in mind that that has been key in the Kenya Kwanza government. Him being the prime minister, of course, being in charge of all the ministers, he was also asked if at all he will ensure that all those cabinet ministers serving in the 22 positions are going to be subjected to scrutiny in Parliament. And the second person to face the panel, of course, is the former National Assembly Speaker, Justin Muturi. For your information, he will go in record as one of the people that will serve in the three arms of government, that is executive, legislature, and of course, judiciary. And he is optimistic, exuding confidence that he will be able to go through the process successfully. He was tasked also to tell the panel how he will manage to ensure that the cases of the government, being a legal advisor to the government, to ensure that cases are not lost. Remember the previous regime, the Attorney General Office lost a number of cases, and he answered saying it's not a must for them to win a case. Of course, also he was also asked how we'll deal with the issue of extrajudicial killings and disappearance. Also, a number of issues that has come up clearly is the cabinet secretaries disobeying court orders, and he was categorical that this will not happen in this regime. Justin Muturi was also tasked to talk about this issue that has been ongoing, the constituency development fund that the Supreme Court looked at it as unconstitutional, and also, of course, he said it's very important that that particular money should be to get back to the members of parliament so that they can be able to spearhead development in their different constituency. And of course, the panel, the 15-member committee led by the former that is the current senator of Bungoma, and of course that is Moses Masika Wetangula, of course the former, that is the former. They are going for a break for 1 hour, and they will be coming back, and the person that will face the panel, that is Eden Bare Duale, the former, of course, the member of parliament for Garissa Township. He will be also subjected to scrutiny to defend his suitability occupying that very important docket of defense cabinet secretary. Of course, we'll be here keeping tabs on what will be happening after Duale. Of course, we'll have the member of parliament for Kandara, who is also defending or trying to prove that he's worth serving in the docket of water, of the cabinet ministry in the water and irrigation. And of course, after that, we will have Alfred Mutua Mutua, the former governor of Machakos, also will be subjected to scrutiny to defend his suitability as to serve as the Foreign Affairs in the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And of course, from me, Timothy Kipnusu, I hand you back to you in studio, Irene Muchuma.
Thank you, Kipnusu. Good to have you. And as the vetting of cabinet secretaries continue, on the other hand, the government is doing preparations ahead of the Mashujaa Day celebrations later in the week. And KBC Channel 1 is on the ground. Zainab Said is on standby this as she follows up on the preparations of this day that will see Kenyans coming together to mark yet another history. Zainab, good afternoon. Bring us up to speed with the latest developments from the Uhuru Gardens.
Thank you, Muchuma. Yes, as you mentioned, we are coming live from Uhuru Gardens in Langata constituency, Nairobi County, where celebrations or preparations for this year's Mashujaa celebrations are ongoing. A few minutes ago, we were addressed by PS Karanja Kibicho, who said the celebration committee is satisfied with the preparation so far, saying that everything is ongoing on so well, awaiting the D-Day, which is on Thursday this week, where Kenyans will be celebrating the Mashujaa celebrations this year. Remember, it's the first Mashujaa Day celebrations under the new administration of President William Ruto. So Kenyans are expected to come here in large numbers. PS Kibicho mentioning that they're expecting about 22,000 Kenyans to be at this garden to mark this year's Mashujaa celebration, which will be the 59th. Also mentioning that Kenyans will be expected to be seated by 10 a.m. in the morning, just cautioning Kenyans to make here as early as possible. Also saying that the gates will be opened as early as 4 a.m. just to ensure that everyone who will be here to follow the events live from the Uhuru Gardens will be required to be seated by 10 a.m. in the morning. So as we speak now, the celebrations preparations are underway. Different teams are just here rehearsing. We've seen students from different schools. We've seen security forces here also just making sure that everything is okay. We've seen mounting of flags around at the gate. Also, we've seen flags which have been raised, and also just to make sure that everything is okay. Sound is being placed. They've mounted big screens at every corner of the gardens just to ensure that those who will be here will be able to follow the events lively from where they'll be seated. And also PS Kibicho mentioning that security is guaranteed for everyone who will be coming here to follow the events live from here, Uhuru Gardens. But also he mentioned that the Regional Commission of Nairobi on Wednesday this week will be giving a communique just to tell Kenyans on how the movement of traffic will be on that day of Thursday. So on Wednesday, Kenyans or Nairobi residents will be expecting a communication from the Regional Commissioner to address them, just to know that which roads will be maybe closed or which roads will not be passable on that day, on Thursday, which is on 20th. Remember, it will also be a public holiday. So it's a story that we are following up here. Celebrations are underway, even as you can hear from my background. Every team here just trying to rehearse to make sure that come Thursday, everything is okay. So we will be following up the story, and of course we will be able to inform our viewers in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Muchuma. Zainab Said from Uhuru Gardens.
Zainab, from the background, you can hear some entertainment. Continue enjoying. We'll be waiting for more comprehensive item from your end in our comprehensive bulletins later on in the day. And on that note, we're taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
To get Change Your Thinking Skiza tune, dial star 811 star 961 hash.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
Who could be staying here? That's so important.
It's Lady Betsy of Green Hill.
Betsy of Green Hill is here? Why wouldn't you let me know this earlier?
I feel sorry for the prince. I bet she's put a charm on Genova.
I seem to recall speaking ill of immortals is not allowed in the palace. Am I right?
You let him drink, didn't you? He's been asleep since yesterday afternoon. What's going on?
I thought that since you brought Betsy here, that things were going really well with you two. But judging by your face, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Are you just trying to upset me? You know that's not what I mean.
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back. You're watching the Lunchtime News. Residents of Kilifi County have been urged to improve their hand-washing culture in order to fight diseases. Health experts say the county is at 67% of an appropriate hand-washing culture, with wards in Kilifi South constituency lagging at 11.6%.
Despite an existing water shortage in Kilifi County, residents are being challenged to maintain the highest levels of hygiene.
Then also rub your...
Health experts say that hand washing remains one of the best ways that locals can fight off diseases in the region.
Tabia za kuosha mikono ni muhimu, tusisitize katika namna usafi, katika pia kutoka kujisaidia. Ni mambo ambayo hatuwezi kuachilia makuasi sababu hakuna maji. Ile maji tulionao machache tunaweza fanya nayo bado kazi hii ya kuzingatia usafi.
Kilifi South Sub-County Medical Officer Dr. Sultan Habez called on partners to combine efforts and ensure residents, especially from low-resource areas, wash their hands.
Usafi unaweza epusha magonjwa tofauti. Mmoja wao ikiwa ni Ebola, typhoid, pindopindo. Magonjwa tofauti inaweza zuika na usafi wa ushaji wa mkono.
The residents were challenged to go beyond just washing their hands, but also be ambassadors of healthy living. Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
The Communist Party of China has unveiled its blueprint for building a modern socialist China in all respects for the next 5 years and beyond. Chinese president, who is on course to secure a historic third term in power, affirmed that the government's commitment to advance the country's growth and influence is on course, despite the many challenges the ambitions pose.
Chinese Premier Li Keqiang presided over the opening session, which was attended by 2,340 delegates, including specially invited delegates to the 20th CPC National Congress. The session attendees first observed a silent moment for Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Liu Shaoqi, Zhu Deng, Deng Xiaoping, Chen Yan, and other late proletarian veteran revolutionaries, as well as revolutionary martyrs. President Xi Jinping delivered a report to the 20th CPC National Congress titled, and I quote, "Hold high the great banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics and strive in unity to build a modern socialist country in all respects." The report consists of 15 parts, including accelerating the creation of a new development pattern and pursuing high-quality development, invigorating China through science and education, and developing a strong workforce to continue the country's modernization drive, improving the people's well-being, upholding and improving the one country, two systems principle, and promoting national unification, world peace, and building a community with a shared future for mankind. President Xi believes the country has managed to overcome critical challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic, the chaos experienced in Hong Kong, and the conflict with independence forces in Taiwan.
A section of leaders from Baringo Central have lauded the move by Baringo Governor Benjamin Chiboi to nominate the son of his late Deputy Governor Felix Kipng'ok. The late Charles Kipng'ok died last month at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport while heading to Mombasa for a governor's induction forum. The leaders have termed the move by Chiboi as wise, saying Felix will perfectly execute the role. They said the nomination goes to show how much the county government values youth leadership.
Na atatufanyia kazi. Kazi yake itaonekana hivi karibuni.
Kwa niaba ya elders wote wa Baringo Central, wa Kerio Valley, kushukuru na kupongeza Mheshimiwa Chiboi kwa yale yote wamefanyia kaunti wetu, na mwanzo kumpa nafasi watu wa Baringo Central. Tunasema asante Chiboi.
Tessa North Member of Parliament Oku Kaunya has faulted the lifting of the ban on GMO in the country. He says GMO may pose health risks to Kenyans unless enough research is done to assure the people of their safety.
Member of Parliament Oku Kaunya has appealed to the government to reconsider the decision on GMO.
Hai kukua imepitishwa Kenya mpaka juzi. Tunaomba serikali yetu iondoe hiyo Kenya mpaka wa Kenya waweze kukubaliana.
The lawmaker argues that there is need for extensive research on GMO to ascertain whether it is safe for consumption.
GMO ni chakula ambayo imetumika njia ya kubadilisha chembe-chembe ya hizo mimea zingine na kuhakikisha kuwa inaweza kuwa kunawiri haraka. Wanasayansi waangalie kama effect ya hizo kwa watu ni namna gani.
The MP argues that Kenyans should continue consuming organic food and ignore GMOs. Meanwhile, students have been challenged to concentrate on their studies to help lift the standards of education in the region.
Kimasomo katika kaunti hii nilikuwa nafikiria kule Trans Nzoia nilipotoka ni mbaya, ni yani wako na shida zaidi. Lakini nimekuta Busia pia kuna shida mingi. Kimasomo in terms of performance katika kaunti hii, the last results nilizoona, watoto wetu wale waliopata alama ya D mpaka alama ya X ni zaidi ya 50%.
In business, youth unemployment has increased considerably due to the impacts of the COVID-19 crisis on the labor market. The Aga Khan Foundation is targeting to empower 400 youth from 6 counties to improve their employability through business entrepreneur training skills to boost their businesses.
Youth unemployment rose sharply at the onset of the pandemic and remains above pre-crisis levels in most countries globally. The disruption in access to education and employment opportunities as a result of the economic downturn is likely to put the young generation on a much more volatile trajectory in finding and maintaining quality jobs and income. Consequently, the COVID-19 response program under Aga Khan Foundation is set to help the youth acquire employment through skills set to help them run their businesses. Stakeholders noted that this will aid in fostering job creation for the youth and trigger imagination and creativity.
We are working with civil society organizations in the 6 counties where we are implementing the program. We are giving them grants to identify emerging needs in the community, identify the most vulnerable members of the community, and come up with interventions to address these needs.
Furthermore, they added that the project also involved business startups with a stipend that will ensure the thriving of their businesses as part of a recovery strategy from the economic shocks of COVID-19.
Katika department yetu tuna ile consolidated revolving fund, tunapeana mikopo kwa vijana.
By the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Kenya registered 285,203 units of new motor and motorcycles in 2021 in comparison to 246,705 in 2020, denoting an immense growth in the sector.
To call boda boda is one of the biggest sectors in Kenya in the economy.
This positive trajectory is, however, also reflecting in casualties and accidents recorded. The report denotes a 16.5% increase in the number of pillion passenger casualties in the reported road accidents, highlighting them as the biggest casualties of boda accidents. It is now partnering with financial institutions and motor vehicle distribution firms to roll out a sensitization program that is to start in Nairobi with 200 riders.
Sasa wakiwa kwa barabara, helmet itakuwa inawasaidia na reflector itakuwa tena inawasaidia, na tunazidi kuambia watu wetu wa bodaboda tuache kuwa arrogant kwa barabara.
They say the drive will work towards upskilling new boda riders and raising awareness on avoidable accidents witnessed in the country.
You must be very careful.
Na si watu wote wa bodaboda tufuate sheria barabarani, tuache zile tabia, tuwe bodaboda ingine, tusiwe ile bodaboda ya mwanzo yenye watu walikuwa wameogopa.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Kenya's status as the undisputed tourism and travel destination was affirmed at the just concluded World Travel Awards. The country was voted Africa's leading destination, while Nairobi claimed the prize for Africa's leading business travel destination. The star-studded event that brought together the tourism and travel big hitters also voted the Kenyatta International Convention Center as Africa's leading meetings and conference center.
The World Travel Awards event held at Kenyatta International Convention Center marked the return of business in the tourism sector, which has been battered by the COVID-19 pandemic. The creme de la creme of the industry gathered together for the first time in 3 years to take stock of the sector and to recognize players who are making a difference in the industry. During the event, Kenya was recognized as a major player in the tourism industry, bagging several awards in the hospitality sector. The country scooped Africa's leading destination title, while Nairobi claimed the prize of Africa's leading business travel destination. Pride in Paradise was named Kenya's leading conference hotel alongside the Norfolk and Movenpick Hotel and Residences Nairobi. In the leading family resort 2022 category, Pride in Paradise Beach Resort and Spa beat 5 other hospitality gurus. Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club claimed the ultimate hospitality award for the Africa's leading hotel, with Radisson Blu taking the top honor for Africa's leading hotel brand. Saxon Hotel Villas and Spa South Africa won the prize of Africa's leading business hotel, with the Transcorp Hilton Abuja, Nigeria, taking the title of Africa's leading business hotel.
We are receiving approximately between 1 to 1.5 million to 2 million tourists on a yearly basis. We believe there's a lot more potential, and we are looking at still expanding aggressively into every major county of the country. Above all, my team has played the biggest role in us getting this award, and we look forward to getting more and more awards in the future years.
World Travel Awards founder Graham Cook said the Kenyan brand was changing business and leisure tourism in the country, and that the recognition is an affirmation of the work that the hotels are doing in Kenya.
Conference is a big part of the business today. MICE business internationally has expanded. It's coming back. I think within the words now, although the word conference, weddings, other events, very, very important. And Kenya is a great country. So you have a great hotelier in a great country. And the potential here is amazing.
Other big winners include the Maldives winning Indian Ocean's leading destination and Indian Ocean's leading tourist board. Cape Town picked up the coveted honor of Africa's leading city destination. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Thank you, Mutai, for that report. An increase of milk prices as well as increased production by farmers drove earnings of Githunguri Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society to 1.1 billion shillings for the 2021-2022 financial year. The society, however, says the high production costs due to high cost of animal feeds could negate the gains made.
Farmers are now grappling with high costs of animal feeds. Prices of dairy meal, maize germ, bran and pollard have continued to rise negatively, affecting dairy farming. Githunguri Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society Chairman George Kinyanjui urges members to persevere because the prices of the raw materials are high across the country.
Not even the feeds for the animals, even the feeds for people, like unga. You have seen how it have licensed from 100 shillings to 250, 200, all those. That is what is happening from the other side of feeds for animal feeds.
During the year ended 2021-2022, the society increased the prices of milk from 41 shillings and 50 cents per litre to 45 shillings per litre. Kinyanjui decried the loss of market following the closure of 6 supermarkets that the cooperative supplied milk to.
What is happening in Kenya, because like those big supermarkets, in every year you'll find a big supermarket going under. And when it goes under with money from the suppliers and mostly from the milk producers.
Members urged the management to source other mechanisms on feeds like soya and sunflowers that have protein and can add the production of milk from their dairy cows.
Tungependekeza tusaidiwe na extension officers, watu ambao watakuja kwa mashamba yetu watufundishe kupanda vyakula ambavyo vinaweza faidi ng'ombe kwa upande wa protein, hasa kitu kama sunflower na soya. Raw materials hizo zinatengenezwa kwa kiwanda, inatoka South Africa, kama ni Zambia, kwa sababu kwa kitabu tumeambiwa raw material imekosa, sasa inaenda kuchukua Zambia, na tuko na kiwanda zetu. Tushindane na hao watu wale wanaenda kuleta Zambia, South Africa, Ukraine, Russia. Kama itatoka huko, tutengeneze kikuja kwa kiwanda wetu ya chakula.
The Port of Lamu is fast becoming a transshipment hub, with the facility expected to ship out the first consignment of livestock. The more than 15,600 heads of livestock are expected to be shipped out to the port of Salalah in Oman tomorrow from the port of Lamu aboard MV Banyas 1. Al Bashir Meat Company, an Oman-based company that is the exporter, has already acquired 100 acres of land adjacent to Lamu Port as a holding ground for the animals.
According to Lamu Port, Cargo Operations Manager Peter Masinde said the government will establish animal holding grounds in Baragoni near Kenya Defence Forces Barracks in Lamu and a laboratory facility in Witu to facilitate the vaccination of the animals. The Port of Lamu was operationalized in May last year by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, and since then it has so far handled 13 vessels. According to Al-Bashaya Meat Company International Trader Manager Jack Onyango, this is the first consignment from the Port of Lamu, and he is optimistic that port's proximity to Salalah Port in Oman will help boost exports.
This is a trial. We've done this 3 times, twice from the port of Mombasa, which was quite successful, but we moved to Lamu, one because of the proximity to the Salalah Port. It's 36 or about hours less, and also for proximity to the traders, the northern corridor. So that is why we chose to come to Lamu, and we will start with a monthly rotation, and then if everything goes well, then hopefully we'll have 2 rotations in a month.
The company has procured a 100-acre piece of land adjacent to the port, which will be holding grounds for the livestock. Masinde further says Lamu Port has dedicated Berth 1 to handle livestock, where the government is developing a 500 million shillings animal handling facility.
So far we've identified an area of 20 acres besides Berth number 1, which we've now dedicated for this type of cargo. And the Department of Livestock has already budgeted and allocated funds to fully develop this facility. The other facilities required that the government has planned to put up is the holding area of around 30,000 acres around Barigoni, which is about 15 kilometers from the port of Lamu.
Once complete, we'll handle live animals for export to Oman, Saudi, Qatar, Kuwait, and all other Middle East countries. Livestock farmers have been urged to take advantage of the exercise and ensure that their livestock is in good health despite the biting drought experienced across the country.
Basically, like, this is a challenge now to us, to the business communities, to the farmers, so that they can boost now the rearing of livestock and ensure that they're in good state, so that we maintain our Kenyan standards to secure our market that we've now gotten.
Governor of Lamu, he's been very supportive, and he's assured us that he'll give us support, whatever support that we need to make this a success. And he's also had meetings with key stakeholders to ensure that hay is planted locally, people take good care of the animals so that they can bring it to this facility.
For Business News from Lamu County, I am Ann Boro.
Hackers are perfecting attack techniques and tactics of writing new malware targeting industrial organizations. Cyber criminals are now targeting large organizations, especially in the petroleum. Cybersecurity giant says countries with renewable energy industries and oil and gas companies like Kenya risk falling victim to a new generation of hackers unless they update their security systems.
Kaspersky indicates that a new malware targeting industrial automation systems, dubbed Industroyer 2.0, is being used to attack vulnerable corporations. The malware was identified by ESET researchers in April 2022. The malware works by targeting automated systems within critical national infrastructure industries to destabilize operations. Kenya's industries were already advised in early 2022 by the Communications Authority to participate in information sharing and collaboration in managing risks and enhancing resilience. Kenya's peers in various industries in the United States, for example, were warned, with the authorities releasing guidelines describing a toolset designed to attack industrial automation systems that use Schneider Electric, Nano PLCs, Sysmac PLCs, and OPC servers. The Kaspersky security network data shows that the number of financial phishing attempts in the African regions increased significantly from Q1 to Q2 of 2022. During the period, commercial banks, payment systems, and e-commerce websites were major targets of phishing by cyber criminals who stole billions of shillings. According to the Kaspersky telemetry, in Q2 of 2022, a total of 100,192 financial phishing attacks aimed at organizations were detected in Kenya, a 201% increase compared to Q1. The largest share of attacks was directed at e-commerce websites at 58%, banks at 21%, and payment systems coming up third with 21%. Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
Across the borders, the Western countries' plans to set a price cap on Russian gas sales could lead to supplies being halted. Gazprom chief executive Alexei Miller has said. Miller's comments echoed a similar warning from Russian President Vladimir Putin, who said last month that Russia would cut off energy supplies if price caps were imposed.
Gas prices have soared since the Russia-Ukraine conflict began in February, prompting calls from the EU countries for a price cap, although they disagree on its design. 7 leaders also promised a price cap on Russian oil at a meeting on September 2nd. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the exact dollar level of a price cap on Russian oil had not yet been determined. Gazprom chief executive Alexei Miller has said the company relies on the contracts that have been signed, adding that a unilateral decision of this kind is a violation of essential terms of the agreements, which would lead to a termination of supplies. Elsewhere, Volkswagen is investing $2.4 billion in a joint venture with Chinese firm Horizon Robotics. The German auto giant said last week the partnership with VW software arm Cariad is intended to speed up customization of automated driving solutions for the Chinese market. Cariad will hold a 60% stake in the new company, with the deal set to close in the first half of 2023. Together, the companies will develop technology that can integrate numerous functions for autonomous driving onto a single chip that will be available only in China. Cariad will play an active role in developing the chip technology with Horizon Robotics, and the know-how will be shared across the Volkswagen Group, the car maker has said. Finally, new British Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt will announce tax and spending measures today, 2 weeks earlier than scheduled. Hunt replaced Kwasi Kwarteng and is trying to halt a bond market rout that has raged since September 23rd, when the government announced a string of unfunded tax cuts. Hunt met Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey and the head of Britain's Debt Management Office to brief them on his plans, the Treasury said. Hunt faces another test of his attempt to stem the crisis of confidence when the bond market reopens and will not have the support of the emergency bond buying program that expired on Friday. British bond prices have renewed their sharp sell-off in trading as investors decided that Truss's latest U-turn to allow a rise in tax on company profits and not freeze them as she had planned was not enough.
And in sports, Neymar Jr. scored the only goal as PSG beat arch rivals Olympique Marseille at Parc des Princes Stadium. In Italy, Napoli beat Bologna in a 5-goal thriller to stay top of Serie A table.
Paris Saint-Germain remain on top of the French Ligue 1 standing after beating Marseille 1-0.
Verratti's strong free tackle set up. This charge for Neymar on half-time, and Mbappe with his first assist of the entire league.
Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain and Brazil soccer star Neymar Jr. and 8 others go on trial in Barcelona today, charged with fraud and corruption over the player's transfer to Barcelona from Santos in 2013.